I'm Jen Rapp. I'm CMO at Superside, and I'm super excited to be announcing our next speaker, someone who is no stranger to bringing down the house with her sessions. And if you were with us last time, you may remember Jessie's session. She was speaking at 3 a.m. her time, and yet her energy was so high that the chat was on fire. People were laughing. We even had a memorable moment where Phil Mags ended up with angel wings thanks to Leonardo.Ai. True story. If you've missed that, don't worry, you can go back and watch it. But I'm thrilled to welcome back Jessie because I was just in London a couple of days ago and I spoke at Canva with this amazing woman named Jessie Hughes, who is truly at the forefront at what is happening with Gen AI in creative marketing, video, and image gen in general. And we really started talking about the role of AI in brand marketing. I'm a brand marketer by trade. I'm super interested in where AI is going to take our craft, especially in terms of creativity and campaigns and video and experiential and content. And I just thought, you know what? Let's bring Jessie back. Let's bring her to you all. And on that note, please welcome Miss Jessie Hughes.
Right, good evening, everybody. Hi, I am so stoked to be back and joining you all. Superside is one of my favorite organizations, and I'm calling in from Copenhagen today, so it's a little bit easier on the time zones. So for those, if we haven't met before, my name's Jessie. I'm very, very lucky to be Leonardo's senior creative technologist, also artist in residence. So I have a 10-year background in the creative industries. I've been working in the creative. I have a degree in design, a degree in screenwriting. I've worked across, everything you've had to do, I've had to do. And so I'm really excited to talk about the role that Gen AI is playing for creatives. Now, I recently made the news why Jessie is begging artists to use Gen AI. I prefer the term encouraging, and I'm going to spend the next 15 to 20 minutes explaining to you why I genuinely wish to encourage creatives into this space. I think it is a magic tool that has landed in our laps. So let's get into it. So creativity, this concept of creativity. So like I mentioned, I studied screenwriting, and I studied screenwriting because I wanted to get out what was in my head. I wanted to get it out. And for me, words were the easiest way. Design, cool. Again, with design, I had to be very technically skilled. So for the things that were outside my 3-year degree, I like 3D rendering and like Blender and all like very complex things, additional skill sets. I felt like I was being limited almost by what I could technically achieve, despite having like ambition to do so without having to like work for a big studio or hire like a lot of collaborators. So I was like, screenwriting seems it for me in terms of being able to articulate this out. So I used to write it in a page, and now I write what I see into a prompt bar. This shift of how I've gone about my creative practice into this world of prompting has truly become something that I just could barely imagine as a kid. You know, it just seems unreal and unmanageable. I saw this on Facebook. I love it, by a creator called Auntie, and he was sketching this like concept, and it was just, you know, this like dragon in his kid's bedroom or something like that. And in an afternoon, he was able to realize that vision using generative AI. Now, to me, this is the like absolute magic of this technology, right? It's being able to have an idea and rapidly bring it out into the world. And we're seeing creatives across all verticals do this. So we've got Becky, incredible creator, taking these beautiful concepts and realizing them, you know, in days or hours sometimes. You've got beautiful people who are photographers like Nuno, who does these works which are so moving, that are empowered by generative work. You've got people who do from backgrounds in architecture who are able to now expand their visions, who are able to rapidly work and bring these visions to life. Through to our disciplines that we're talking about with marketing. So being able to use this toolkit to rapidly create work that previously would have been incredibly hard to produce. What we're also seeing is amazing work from people in the film disciplines. So this is Paul Trillo, absolutely amazing creator, and he'd had this idea for this music video for over 10 years. This was a passion project they'd had for over 10 years. But creating something like this is incredibly hard technically with camera work. It's very expensive, and so for him to be able to use Gen AI and bring this vision into the real world is for me the beauty of these technologies. Right, so creativity, it is no longer limited by capital, so money. It's no longer limited by resourcing, so depending on how big your team is, nor is it by technical training. And I think for us as creatives who've most likely done a creative discipline, this is something that we're gonna have to adjust to. And also, is it limited by age? And so I teach workshops to kids, I teach them to adults, and I had this 67-year-old artist who jumped on and was able to take her creative practice into this whole new discipline. And I think the way these tools, like specifically the Leo interface, these have been designed so that anybody can kind of jump on the AI bandwagon and join in. So very quick history lesson for those who are new to it. Obviously, we all remember this picture, the Pope in Drip by Pablo. This caused quite the storm on the internet. And I think this for everybody was kind of our intro into Gen AI. This was about March 2023, I think. Then we had Shy Kids came out with this one, it's Airheads, which I love this piece at the time because faces were very, very hard to do. I have a feeling this is about June-ish. Anyway, and the fact that this creator could come in and create such a beautiful piece, meeting the technology where it was at the time. Then we just went wild. So in the last few months, Kling came out with this one, which was just so hyper realistic. People couldn't believe it. Then like a week later, NVIDIA did this, and it was just like, oh my God, we've got photorealistic video now, like holy moly. And then I started to see the cool stuff. So then it started getting in the hands with the creatives and artists. And so very rapidly after, I was seeing these beautiful spec ads, which were created again, in a very short period, sometimes maybe a week or a few days, depending on who the creator is. And to me, what was so evident was the power of excellent storytellers and excellent creative. If you didn't know that this video was generated, you wouldn't guess. You wouldn't know that wasn't generated. So I think when we start seeing just standout, beautiful storytelling, beautiful creative, to me, this is just a testament of where we're kind of heading with this technology. Very recently, sorry, it's a bit pixelated. My computer's doing something weird. But this is a very high quality, beautiful animated work, which is just won Curious Refuge AI animation contest. And I think, I saw this and instantly I knew industry was gonna kind of change, and it is, and it has. So for example, ITV, they've launched their own Gen AI production service. So if you read this article, what's very interesting is they talk about the fact that it's enabling businesses who previously might not have invested in creating assets because they couldn't afford it. And if we think about producing creative materials, a lot of the time the barrier to entry is expensive. A lot of people don't have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to produce, a short form thing for a small business. And I think what Gen AI is very good at is kind of it's giving opportunity to people who wouldn't previously have been able to enter or afford work. So I think we are going to be seeing very, very, very different shifts to business models. I'm excited by it. I think there's going to be some really exciting, positive things that come with the shift. So much so, we had very big news come out yesterday. James Cameron is joining Stability AI's board of directors. Kind of what that means is a nod to industry that, what do we call it? Artisans, tastemakers, craftsmen, people who have excelled in their discipline or their practice, are now open to the concept of having conversations about Gen AI. Following the climate of audience approach around Gen has been very interesting to watch. I've been working in Gen for about 2 years now. And so where we're at today, it feels a lot more optimistic in the sense of like, okay, what can we do with this technology? So very cool way. We had another biggie, Runway partnered with Lionsgate. So that's the entertainment industry. Tribeca has started opening up Saw Short. So these are like the top creme de la creme, like it's like Tribeca, top film festival is now welcoming generative storytelling. So I think, this is my...
The 2022 Windows tinted. I'm back up in it. More spinach. I'm so vintage. Baby say she want a minute. That's the 2022 Windows.
Now, just to give context, I started playing it a bit too early. If you haven't seen this, this is a real official music video by Snoop Dogg that is entirely Gen AI, is entirely generated. This music video is an official Snoop Dogg video. And I think when I saw this, there was a few things that happened. The production turnaround that this took, I'm blanking right now, but it was a very limited amount of time. I have a feeling they might have said it was like a month or 2 months to produce what is an exceptional video. Please watch it. My thing is being too laggy, but I'll just play a little bit more for you. But the fact that we are having people like celebrities like Snoop Dogg being like, you know what, if it can expand my creative vision, like having horses flying in the sky in Paris, let's do it. I'll play a little bit more because it's cool.
I'm back up in it. More spinach. I'm so vintage. Baby say she want a minute. That's gonna finish what he started. Cold-hearted. I hit Siri. The docu-series is full-party. All these cell phones.
Bummer that it's pixelated, but it's truly a work of art. And I think what, to me, all of these things, I bring them up is because they are nods to where we are moving. Every time I see new things, I'm like, oh, this is a pillar. This is a nod to where we're going forward. If you haven't seen this already, this is fascinating. This came out by, this is Notebook LM. And so you can take a piece of content. So for the brand and marketers on this call, like, oh my God, get ready for multi-platform content, right? So this author had written the book and had put it into Google LM without pressing anything, without any code. This is what you can get now. Here we go.
Okay, so get this right. We've got these excerpts from a story. Girl from Wudang, ancient martial arts secrets dropped right into some near future America, and it's freaking everyone out. Internet Wudang training.
Those blackouts
Sure.
to like really explore the anxieties we have as a society. Remember that passage where people are comparing it to the 90s, even the 19th century? It just shows how dependent we've become on technology.
Now, just for more clarification, these are completely generated voices. It's a fake podcast. So it's a podcast. So it's a generated podcast of the content. So you upload your book or your piece of content, maybe your ad, maybe it's a commercial, like whatever your piece of content is. And this LM can go and convert it into a podcast with multiple different voices. Now, if you listen to this whole thing properly, it has breaks, it pauses. It's like, actually, it stumbles in the way humans, like all of the nuances of the human experience has been put into this system. And again, what excites me about this, or what my like brand marketing brain is like, oh my God, is the demand for multi-platform content is so excessive. Like if you, for example, I watched a Netflix series the other day and I loved the playlist on the Netflix series. And the first thing I did was open up my Spotify and search the show. And already they had gone and put a playlist of all of the songs that were in the show. That is what I expect from my brands these days. I expect you to be everywhere because I want my content everywhere. So the fact that you can have things like this, like an LM going and producing these, is pretty astounding to me. So I think we are entering truly this next era of Gen AI being just
okay, so get this.
So, what the technological progress that we make in the next 100 years will be larger than we've made since we first controlled fire or invented the wheel. We're up to some very, very, very big change. We're experiencing rate at the fastest rate in human history, the slowest it's ever going to be. And we're entering a thing called the creativity age. So this really is almost like this next era of creativity. And that is unleashed by tools. And with Leonardo's, it's just a little peek of one of our platforms. We've got this ability to use generative tools to create incredible experiences. Now, I have a lot to show you today, so I'm just going to start skipping into the goodies because I think that's will be better for timing. So let's have a look at some brand stuff. So this is one of our clients, Ducati. They use, amazing motorbike company. They use Leonardo's backend API to create this really beautiful brand activation where users and audiences could go in and create their own motorbikes, right? And so they could go and like personalize their own bike. This as a brand activation is such a fun, interesting, unique ability. And I think personalization is really something that people are kind of expecting these days as well. This is another one of our API clients. So Core 3D, they create like they use generative ability to make like clothes patterns. But what they've just done, very clever, is they've now partnered with Roblox, so they can now not only create physical clothes in the real world, but also be able to create digital assets, because this is it's a second market, the online market with them. So I think that is pretty clever. So let me skip. Okay, so I want to show you what I consider like top tier brand work with Gen AI. This is a beautiful photography work by Rob Rustling. So it's a blended, this is hybrid. So this is using his photography, so top tier photography with generative capabilities. So creating these beautiful immersive worlds. I saw this by Boris Knoll, and to me, this is just evidence. Again, this isn't real photography. This is generative work. So no longer are you having to spend $100,000 to fly a photography shoot out to Iceland to get this amazing shot. You can now spend a week with a professional being able to create phenomenal assets. We've started to see it across industries, so adoption. So A24 created these with Gen AI. This is for their new movie Civil War. So I'm seeing it across Hollywood. Hollywood are really kind of leaning into this new way of creating assets. Up until being able to make really cute personalized branding activations. So we were recently acquired by Canva. Very, very exciting, massive news for us. But what was great as part of that, we have like 120 employees or something like that. I was able to make 120 personalized graphics for people to roll out across social media. Now you just think about the brand possibility of, everybody in an organization can press a thing and have their personalized asset to share across the world. I think this personalization thing is really, really cool with Gen. I did a talk at VCCP the other day, and this was just a little silly experiment where I dropped their style reference and was able to make imagery instantly in their style. And I think this for brand and for marketing is the most important thing, is being able to style transfer or maintain style across all these different things, regardless of the brand. If you're working for McDonald's or Netflix or whatever the brand is, like being able to just chuck in their brand style guides and all of a sudden all of your imagery looks like it should, like it fits. I just want to flag this really cute experiment by Elfeo. He does this stuff where he takes existing campaigns and then remakes them if he were to do it with AI. And I think if you have a look at any of these images side by side, it's very evident which one is the stronger image, which is the better image. So for me, I am compelled to pick whichever is the best image. And if Gen AI is the one that's able to produce that, a higher quality of work, then that's where I would be leaning if I were to run a studio. This is a really cute work by Joe John. And the other thing I like about Gen is what isn't possible, what isn't possible with current forms, or things that are very hard, like creating a work like this, whether it's in Blender or these very technically hard softwares, which now we can make with Gen. This is some work by Bianca from Superside. And this extends across to graphics. So being able to create really, really cool graphical work. I whipped this up the other day. It took me practically had my eyes closed. And this, when you would make that, if I made that in bloody hell, like Houdini or something like that, God, it would have taken so much time. And now I can jump in and say, actually change the word to Jessie, and we can do that instantly. With something like Leo, we also have the ability to use edit with AI, so natural language for editing content. So I can go in and be like, actually, I want it to be more tomatoes. No, actually, I want it to have more ingredients. No, I want it to be bigger. So when you're in a meeting where your boss is sitting over your shoulder being like, oh, I just wish it was purple. Now you can literally be like, hey, actually, can you change it to purple? Or if they're like, no, we need the car to go faster. They're like, can I have more streak, more speed, more this? And simply with natural language, so no need for excessive prompting and any hardcore programming stuff. You can just use natural language to achieve these outcomes. So our tools are expanding our possibilities. And I just want to quickly close on Leonardo because I think it's a phenomenal platform. So I'm sure everyone's used to the concept of Gen. So with Leo, it's like this all-in-one content suite. So you've got image Gen, you've got motion, you've got upscaling. Personally, I think it's one of the absolute best upscalers in the game. We have just released our new thing, ultra upscale. It's massive. So if you were creating imagery that needs to go on giant billboards, Perfect. Let's upscale it and get it ready for production. Just as a quick few stats. So Leo, we've got like 24 million users, which is mind blowing. Not like 23.6. It's almost 24 million. We've almost generated 2 billion images in like under 2 years, coming on 2 years, which is just mind blowing. So success has been absolutely rapid. We're everywhere in the world. And we're an Australian founded company, which is very, very cool. We're very proud of it. Again, I mentioned earlier, we've recently been acquired by Canva, which is awesome. I think it's going to be a really beautiful partnership. Leo is completely still remaining independent. So don't worry if you're a Leo fan, we're still there. But I think Canva is going to be getting some really cool AI capabilities coming soon. Yeah, so I suppose we are short on time, so I'll rush through these, but mainly it's this idea of what can't you do previously and how does Jen improve your workflow? This is a storyboard that I whipped up for a client the other day. So before we even get to set, I can visualize stuff. We've got every art style, like anything you can imagine, you can come and bring to life. Again, that personalized element. The detail is mind-blowing. These are some of our ultra upscaled outputs. And then you get things like, again, brand, we're here for brand today, being able to make beautiful, beautiful assets at speed like this. To get closer to what you want and doing things that, again, previously were very technically hard. So lots of exciting things coming. Character consistency, I think, is really important for brand as well and brand and marketing. That's something that's got very, very good recently. That's an example of an upscaler. So yeah, I also mentioned that we have collaborative things, so teams. So Leonardo for Teams is for people that work for studios. So if you work for a studio, being able to collaborate with others in your team is really helpful. And that API thing is really important as well. So if you're doing like a brand campaign and somebody wants some cool generative thing, we can whip that in. We have webinars coming up. So if this is something you are interested in learning about, you can jump on. They're coming up with marketing and advertising is this week, actually. So you can learn along. There's lots of possibilities with it. And I know we're short on time, so I just might close it up. But yeah, it's here. Humans are storytellers. It's what we do. We make art. It's what we're good at. AI is the new interface, and human ingenuity knows no bounds. I love this. This is a ring. It says criminals will start wearing extra prosthetic fingers to make surveillance footage look like it's AI generated and thus inadmissible as evidence. And you can buy one of these. These are very funny. It's by an artist called Nadia. I love that. I really want one of these. They look excellent. And before you go today, make sure you do claim these tokens. So we're giving away 5,000 free tokens to anybody who's willing to listen to me chat. And yeah, go have a play. We've got some very exciting tools that are just being rolled out weekly. Like, honestly, I'm blown away weekly by what's coming to the platform. Try Edit with AI, Describe with AI, and Upscaler, which is my favorite at the moment.
Hi again. Okay, so when we were in London together, you were actually like showing me some of those tools. And I was blown away. I actually, for the first time in my life, came home and played with Leonardo.AI.
Did you?
As a marketer, like I came home and started making my own images, and I was able to do that. And one of the interesting questions that we saw a ton in the Q&A while we were going on is like, are there tips for improving prompts? And you blew me away when we were in London because you were like, look, I'm the shittiest prompt writer on the planet. This is how I do it. And so maybe like, give us a quick like 30-second tutorial on like how you're writing prompts these days and any tips for people to get better.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, I think this is what's funny about Leo compared to, I suppose, some of the other like AI platforms. If you're used to that, like prompting is like the rule of every other platform, right? And we realized that people aren't good at it. Like it's not natural. Like people have a hard time with it. And so when we built out the tools, like if you go to if you try to write a prompt, if you write a relatively bad prompt, like a pretty crap prompt, we have auto prompt enhance. So we've specifically built in technology that if I say, hey, can you make, oh my God, my green screen's tripping out. Never mind. It's like, can you make me like a marketing campaign of a water bottle? Like, sure, but like that's barely any information. So with prompt enhance, it will say like a high rendered hyper realism photography shot on a DSLR with a something composition frame rate with water droplets. The atmosphere is like blah blah blah. It will take your like 5, 6, 7 words and turn it into a full paragraph of description. Now, a lot of people, and then because again, we like to say, oh my God, love animals, yes. And then you get a result, and instantly with Edit with AI, I can now just press Edit with AI. I don't really like that. Like, I'll just be like, make more big, make small, like we've designed it in a way that it can be for everyone. And I think this is a really interesting flag, is because you think about 24 million different users, right? We have people from everywhere. And for people who are not like native digital, pros, we needed to come up with a way that they could also make exceptional work. And Leo's work is exceptional, and like has the capacity to make it. I love that grumbling. Oh my God, that is so
God,
good.
you can hear that? That's just terrible.
No, I love
okay. But Jessie, when we were there, you said like to the audience, you were like, hey, use AI to make your prompts better. And I think that was a really cool takeaway for everyone in that audience.
Oh, 100%. But I was doing that like before we had it on platform. I would go to ChatGPT. I would like show it a picture of something that I'd be like, I don't know how to articulate. Like if we use that sale sign, right? I'm like, I don't know how to articulate what that gloss is. I don't know how to articulate these things. So I would use computer vision. OpenAI, like ChatGPT, it'd be like, hey, can you describe this for me? And I would copy and paste that, and I would take it into my thing, and I would drop it there. And then we were like, wait, we don't want people going off platform. So we just build it into platform, where now it's right there. You can have describe with AI. So like, I've gone and made a body of work. So I say I put in a screen grab from one of my music videos, and it with describe with AI, it can literally tell me what it is seeing in that shot. So I'm already a mile ahead before. Like I as a professional do not type into a blank box anymore, because it's just not how to, like, there's so much better ways to work to get way better results much faster. And I think Leo's kind of AI, we've made this thing like literally as easy as you can possibly make it for everybody. What I like though is people who are professionals, like people who are, predominantly people in this call who understand these things. We've got all these extra features. So we've got all these abilities to have like content reference, star reference, thingy reference, like all the more complex advanced tools are there if you're interested in it. Whereas for the everyday person, like I babysit my 5-year-old neighbor, and she sits there with an iPad and literally just like goes ham, says the most bizarre things, and her images come out looking excellent. Like for real, like you could put them like they're incredible.
And a brand campaign.
This is the thing, they actually could. And that's where I think we're going to have interesting conversations, because I'm like, okay, so my 5-year-old neighbor has gone and created a graphic that previously would have taken a week, 2 weeks to have made in a 3D software and lit, and then get the composition right, blah, blah, blah. Whereas because there's like a lot of this auto prompting going on to help an assistive, that's there. However, this is another big thing. We are also tooling for creative control. So for people who are professionals, who are working on $100 million campaigns for whatever, we promise total creative control. And what I mean by that is being able to be so specific and so articulate with getting the result that you want. So I didn't really go through the platform as much, but like we have a tool, Real-Time Canvas, my favorite thing, where I can just literally sketch whatever the thing I want. And instantly that builds out the composition for the image, which we're going to be creating. Or if you're like an old school storyboarder, right? I can like take a photo of my sketch on my paper, literally my paper where I prefer to work, upload a photo, and then use like edge to image, line to image, or, that, and instantly build out this sketch into these like high, beautiful works. So yeah, it's very, very, very exciting. All the creative control is the thing that we like promise with Leo. And for me, it's like, it's honestly just the creative control that's in that platform is insane. So it's very
amazing. Well, I'm so sorry to cut us off. I feel like we could have kept going for another half an hour, but thank you so dang much for being here on such short order. Your presentation was amazing, like always, and your energy is A++. So Thank you for being here during our Infinite Canvas Summit.
I hope you enjoyed that session from our virtual event, the Infinite Canvas. There's plenty more to learn, so be sure to check out the rest of the sessions. Otherwise, head over to superside.com for more on AI and its impact on marketing and creative. Thanks for watching.